Hello, my name is Sydbee, so you can call me B, and welcome back to some more Winter Swish. As you can see, I already have another avatar. I just really wanted to make my own Sydbee's persona, so here she is. I do want to add more physics, make it more polished eventually, like, you know, hair physics and stuff like that, but I think this is okay for now. So yeah. More Winter Wish. And then, a quarter bell hour later, approximately 30 minutes in today's time. After we handed the thief to the volunteer police, we went to the theater. Wow, this is amazing. It was something entirely different than what I imagined a theater would look like. To start, it was incredibly spacious. Rows upon rows of seats filled an area so large that it could fit at least 1,000 people. Both sides of the hall also had balcony seats from which dozens of people were leaning out of. And if that wasn't enough, everyone was drinking and eating food. Just standing at the entrance, I could hear the jovial voices of the audience. Even though it seemed that the show had already started and the actor was acting on stage. I always thought you had to watch plays in silence, but I guess that's not always the case. If anything, everyone's just here to relax. They pay attention to the show too, of course. That's interesting. You could be on to something, now that I'm used to it. This is livelier and more fun, I think. Alright, here's the sushi set. I bought enough for everyone, so let's dig in. Oh, perfect timing. I was just feeling hungry. Good thing we managed to get some seats. As we talked, the play continued on. An actor dressed as a courtesan was arguing with an actor playing a white-haired samurai. It seemed that the white-haired samurai had feelings for her, despite her being in a relationship. He was being nasty to her for rejecting him. Then the courtesan expression twisted into one of pure distaste. I think that's one of the love interests. I'm looking at the... yeah. He's definitely one of the love interests. What voice should I give him? He is a proud and noble man, I think, while you are nothing but a bitter child. The difference is as clear as snow and ink. Compared an inkwell to the strong and wild Raimon Sea, though oceans they may be, a patron's lust could never be as deep. Though without a lover, I would not see the light of day. It is clear that I should keep a fool like you away. The audience went into an uproar at the impressive insult. While it is a satisfying scene, it seemed as though the actor's popularity was adding fuel to the fire. The actor is very pretty. I can't tell he's a man at all. If I'm not mistaken, that person doesn't have threads around their neck? I was curious, but more than that, I was more interested in where the story would go. I continued getting absorbed in the world of the kabuki show. The play was over in an instant. As I sat in my seat basking in the afterglow, Tomonari quietly peered at my face. Seems like you had a good time. Yeah, it was super interesting. My heart was racing at the end, though. You mean when he jumped into the water? I guess that was a bit too stimulating for you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Anyway, let's go to the dressing room. Come on, let's get a move on. Huh? What? He didn't even give me a chance to say anything. Sad. before I even knew what was happening, everyone took me to the back of the theater. Of course, he was waiting there. What is it? The area is for employees only. It's the actor who played the courtesan. They must play the women's onagata roles? Women's onagata roles. He had already removed his makeup. There was no mistaking the elegant contours of his face. I was quite excited from the fact that someone I'd seen on stage just a few minutes ago was standing right in front of me. Oh, come on, don't say that. Are we friends, Kinji? Anyone who treats their superior with such disrespect is no friend of mine. The same goes for all of you, barging in here as a group while I'm tired. Sorry about that, Kinji. Can you just let it slide just for today? We have someone here we want you to meet. Do you mean that young miss over there? For the first time, the actor noticed me. There, staring right at me, was this beautiful person. My nervousness had reached a peak. I couldn't do anything but look at his neck. Oh, the threads. I couldn't see it from far away when he was on stage, but I was right. This actor doesn't have threads either. Maybe it's proof that they're oniwaban? Oniwaban. I still think I'm saying that wrong, but oh well. You haven't explained any details to me, so I'm not sure. Soup, this is Kinji. As you saw earlier, he's working as an actor while fulfilling his duties as an oniwaban. And Kinji, she's... It's Soup, right? Oh, wrong voice. Excuse me. It's Soup, right? I was able to put it together as soon as you said her name. You're the person Lord Yoshimune wishes to seek help from, aren't you? I'm not sure if I'll be able to provide much. From my past experiences, it was hard to think of myself as someone who could be of any benefit. But the truth was that I was here because the Shogun asked for me, if I couldn't fully deny his words. Kinji squinted his eyes mirthfully and leaned in closer. I heard that they were going to bring someone from the faraway village, so I was wondering what kind of wild child they'll bring back, but you're pretty cute. Oh my, what's gotten you all flushed? Stay strong, Soup. Don't fall for it, Soup. Did you perhaps feel embarrassed just now from being called cute? That's even more adorable. Ugh. Please stop messing with her, Kinji. I'm saved. Yeah, I want to mess with her too, but I'm holding myself back. It's not fair. Oh, Taro, you be quiet. I'll just pretend I didn't hear what Otaro said. Otaro's one thing, but it's a rare sight to seeing Tomonari caring about someone else. Right? I was pretty shocked at first, but it seems Tomonari is finally grown up. You're acting like you're his father. I wouldn't say his father, Kinji. More like his older brother. Kunitaka, shut up. Though if we're talking about Kinji, he's like the grandpa of the Oniwaban, so it wouldn't be wrong if he was acting like our parent. Otaro? Oh, Otaro? Did you just say something? That was a joke. You didn't hear anything. I'm sorry. So Kinji's pretty old. As we had our wonderful conversation, our trip to see the entertainment district drew to a close. After we said our goodbyes to Otaro and Kinji, we finally arrived at Samurai Town. very well named. Unlike Castletown and the entertainment district, Samurai Town was a quiet residential area. There were no stores. Every once in a while, merchants selling their wares or townsfolk taking a stroll would pass by. Excuse me. Even they wore clothes that were unmistakably of high quality. It's such a calm area. I sort of feel like I'm out of place here.
Really? Sure, there's a lot of mansions belonging to samurai and daimyo, but most of the people who live here are all pretty normal.
Daimyo? Daimyo, a rank of samurai, refers to influential samurai among the vassals directly serving the main bunch of the shogun family, and who had large domains with crop yields of 10,000 koku or more. Normal? But they're clearly a different social status than me. This is our assigned area. Kunitaka and I usually do patrols and such here. I see. There's just as much black thread here as there were in Castletown, but it seems to be more concentrated in some spots. It might even be more dangerous here. We walked down the path and then, eventually, we arrived in front of a large mansion.
Alright, we're here.
This is
the base of operations of the Oniwaban. You're gonna live here for a little while.
In this amazing mansion? The difference between my last home and this mansion was, quite frankly, like the difference between heaven and earth. There's probably never been a leak in that roof, though a house this big must be really hard to clean. As I stared up in amazement at the mansion, I saw a large bird flying through the dusk sky. I wondered where it was heading off to, but then the bird unhesitatingly stopped at the tree right next to us.
Good boy.
Ow. Upon closer observation, there appeared to be a letter tied around the bird's leg. Tojo, that bird is... It is an eagle.
This freedom bird belongs to the captain. We can use it to communicate from far away when there's emergencies and stuff.
As he explained it, Tojo opened up the letter and began looking through it. Is it about work?
No, it's about the mansion. It said that it's already been prepared for you. Isn't that great, Soup? You should live pretty comfortably for a while.
Thank you so much for everything. I had already known in the back of my mind, but none of this could have happened without so many people's help. Now I understood that even more. My chest felt full of emotion. And Mommy Milky. Afterwards, Tomonari and Tojo gave me a tour around the mansion. It was my first time even entering... I'm sorry. It was my first time even entering a samurai's mansion, but never imagined a toilet and bath could be indoors. So that was quite the surprise. So hype. Rich people are so unbelievable. They even have indoor bathrooms specifically for guests. They can shit inside. This was the last room they took me to.
Apparently, you can use this room as your own. The closet next to it has blankets and clothing, so feel free to use whatever you like.
Yes, thank you very much.
Alright then, rest up.
I guess I'll head out too.
Wait a second.
I hurriedly ran over to Tomonari, who was about to leave after Tojo. You're going? You all don't live here? Excuse me. No, everyone has a civilian identity, so we all live in separate places. We do stay here on occasion, though. Now that he mentions it, the mansion doesn't feel lived in at all. I see. Wait, are you feeling lonely? Lonely? That was exactly how I felt. Up until this point, I'd been traveling with Tomonari and the others for the entire journey. There was something painful about being left alone in such a large mansion after spending so much time with others. Bitch, I would be excited. It was like, hey, I get to I get to explore such a big pace on my own. But if I say something as childish as that, I'd only be causing trouble. Not to mention, I'd feel contrite. It's fine, just forget about...
Hey, stop making her upset. We plan on spending the night here, remember? Let's hurry and prepare our beds.
Tojo, who I thought had left earlier, popped his head in. It seemed that he'd been listening in on our conversation.
What's up with you? Stop making that face.
What? I've been thinking about this for a while, but Tomonari's pretty indifferent about people other than me.
Probably because y'all knew each other before.
Anyway, I'll be in the next room. If anything happens, call for me immediately, okay? Okay, thank you. Oof. After I was alone, I quietly let out a sigh of relief. Even while I was in this room, I could hear the voices of Tomonari and Tojo through the doors, so I didn't feel lonely at all. Those voices gave me the same sense of security from when we were staying at the resting stations. We walked around so much today, I'm exhausted. But I met so many wonderful people. Kuga, Yoichi, Otaro, Kinji. And tomorrow, I'll meet Lord Yoshimune. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do with this power, but I'll do the very best I can. With determination in my chest, I begin my preparations for sleep. Me, 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 me. The next day, Tomonari and Tojo immediately escorted me to Chiyoda Castle. Finally, I would have an audience with the shogun, Yoshimune Tokugawa.
Listen, be mindful of your manners. Normally, even samurai have to become shogunate retainers even before they're allowed to meet Lord Yoshimune. Shogunate retainers, a rank of samurai that directly serve the main branch of the shogun family. Their crop yields are less than 10,000 koku, but their family status allowed them to be the shogun's presence at ceremonies, etc. What you're about to experience is that important.
Right. I have to make sure that I'm not rude to Lord Yoshimune. There are different rules of etiquette, even when we're meeting someone, right? But, so after I enter, I have to bow first. No, I have to sit first. Wait a second. They taught me so much just this morning, and now I can't remember a single thing. Soup? What? Are you nervous? Well, yes, of course. I mean, we're talking about the Lord Yoshimune. If I accidentally say something rude, that would be an absolute nightmare. He might even tell me to cut my own stomach open and stuff. Commit kabuko. I can't say it. Seppuku. Calm down. You're just gonna listen to him talk. There's no way that could happen. He will not make you do honorable suicide. Oh, wait, I can't say that word. Wait, I'm not monetized, so I can say the word. Look what you did, Kunitaka.
Hey, don't slander me like that. I was only saying things that should be common sense.
At that point in our conversation, both Tomonari and Tojo stopped walking. In front of us stood a grand pair of sliding doors.
As if to confirm with me first, Tojo looked at me in the eyes before he called out to whoever was behind the doors. My lord, I have brought with me the girl in question.
So you arrived. Enter. Ah, there was no longer any time to chat. Waiting beyond those sliding doors was the shogun of our time. An otherworldly silence spread across the space past the sliding doors. On the shitone? It looks like shit throne. On the shitone, and which I assume is how it's pronounced, I could be totally wrong. Right in front of us was the one and only Lord Yoshimune. Shitone, a cushion you lay on the ground while a cushion you lay on the ground when sleeping or sitting. And all of the members of the Oniwaban I met thus far were lined up at his side. There were about 3 people that I didn't recognize, but I couldn't observe too closely. Of course I couldn't. Lord Yoshimune was right in front of me. I entered about halfway into the room and knelt down in front of Lord Yoshimune, bowing my head. I waited for Lord Yoshimune's words, so nervous that I could feel my heart in my throat. He has to have a character portrait, right?
Girl, raise your head.
Yep, he does. Hi! This is Lord Yoshimune.
I commend you on your long journey.
I wish my voice could go lower.
I am Yoshimune Tokugawa, the 8th shogun of the Edo Shogunate.
I'm gonna try that again.
I commend you on your long journey. I am Yoshimune Tokugawa, the 8th shogun of the Edo Shogunate. It was none other than I who summoned you here today.
It's very nice to meet you. My name is Soup. It's a great honor to be here. After the greetings, I lowered my head with as much gusto as I could. This is the correct etiquette, right? Wait, was this really what I was supposed to do? My mind is all blank. I don't know what I'm doing.
There is no need to be so tense. It's not as if you're on trial in front of the magistrate.
Magistrate. Shogunate's job title that included the city religious, and chief financial officials. Each is responsible for specific government affairs. City magistrates govern cities and handle justice.
Also, I do not wish for my inner circle to be so strict with titles. Call me Yoshimune from now on.
Yes, I mean, Lord Yoshimune.
Good. Kunitaka, Tomonari, well done on completing the mission. You may rest up.
Yeah. Hi, I think. As far as I could see, Lord Yoshimune's threads remain a pure green. Green is the color that represents calmness. This is probably the first time I ever seen such a clear green. He's the current shogun, so he must think completely differently from ordinary people.
Now then, Soup. Now that we've finished our greetings, let me explain why I've called you here.
Yes.
I believe you've already encountered it at your hometown. Do you remember the monster created from the black threads?
Yes, I remember.
That thing is called a Blightfall.
Blightfall, evil incarnate with bodies of black threads, summoned by negative emotions like resentment or envy. They come in many forms, but always wear human-like masks, bring black miasma that destroys crops and turn affected humans into formed folk into Blightfall monsters.
Blightfall are drawn to negative emotions. They're calamities that appear at nightfall.
Nightfall, when the sun has set and the night just begun to fall. Did that happen last time? Was that? I think I remember it being day, but I could just be misremembering. Can't handle me drinking water, camera.
They can be created from humans' malice. Even humans themselves can turn into a blightfall. As such, they often appear in places with many people. There are ones that disappear come sunrise, but the powerful ones do not disappear till they are exterminated. In order to exorcise them, one needs to destroy the mask on their head, which is their weakness. However, the only ones who can accomplish this are those such as the Oniwaban, and those like you who possess the power of the Hakuseki clan. Hakuseki clan.
Hakuseki clan. Clan that made a living slaying Blightfall for many generations. In the past, a few of them were stationed in each region to keep the Blightfall at bay, but they have been all wiped out. Oh, are we badass? Are we going to be badass? Oops, sorry.
The ones who are gathered here today are part of the Oniwaban's secret team, who specializes in exterminating Blightfall. With that,
Lord Yoshimune slowly looked at the people around us. I could feel their attention on me, but I was so nervous that I could hardly take my eyes off Lord Yoshimune.
I will cut to the chase. I want to invite you to join the Oniwaban as a member of the secret team. Though you are a woman, you are a member of the secret Oniwaban. I promise you'll be treated no differently than a samurai. That being said, I don't believe much would change for you
publicly. I keep on saying publicity.
That being said, I don't believe much would change for you publicly, but we need that power that you wield.
A member of the Oniwaban? I see. So that's why I was allowed to meet with Lord Yoshimune in person. Now that I think about it earlier he mentioned his inner circle. I guess it was decided from the start that I would join the Oniwaban. This should be a fair suggestion.
This should be a fair suggestion for you as well. What do you say?
Thank you. If I can help someone with my power, even just a little, then I'll do my very best to fulfill my duty. Thinking back on the things Tomonari and Tojo had said, this was something I partially suspected would happen. Fighting against those monsters would be terrifying, and I didn't know how helpful I could be, but I had to come all this way. I wanted to do the best I could.
Yes, I'm pleased to hear that answer. Now then, since we have finished our discussions, I'll answer any questions you may have. Now that we are friends, you can talk freely. No need to hold back.
Yes, thank you very much. Oh yeah, he mentioned something earlier that I never heard of before. So, just what exactly is the Hakuseki clan? Lord Yoshimune, I believe you mentioned it earlier that I'm someone with the power of the Hakuseki clan, but this is the first time I've ever heard that term.
I see. I should have explained it. Very well. In the past, before the Oniwaban, there were people who made a living out of exterminating Blightfall. That was the Hakuseki clan. Rumors say they had special powers, and they were able to predict when and where Blightfall would appear, as well as exorcise them. Perhaps in order to lure the attention of the Blightfall, members of the clan all had skin as white as ivory and hair as white as silk. And all of them were able to see threads that were unseen by the normal eye.
She doesn't have white hair. What? She'd be pretty with white hair. She had such a familiar word out of nowhere. I couldn't help my surprise.
And at that very moment, I had been staring at Lord Yoshimune's threads while listening to him. Those who had the blood of the Hakuseki clan could see the threads wrapped around humans and form folk alike. From the color imbued in the threads, they could also read the emotions and natures of others.
That's the same as me?
Yes, as you suspect, you are a descendant of the Hakuseki clan. Perhaps because the blood had been diluted, you do not possess the physical traits, but there is no mistake, you have the same power. And I heard from your father, from Munenori.
Well, wait a second.
What's wrong?
How do you know my father's name? Do you know my father?
Of course. I've visited your hometown once. On that occasion, I chanced upon Munenori. Because of that, I've known of you for a while, but out of respect for him, I kept you out of the battle against the Blightfall. However, they have been more active as of late. We can no longer afford to keep our guard down. At Yoshimune's explanations, questions I've been asking about myself for days.
At Yoshimune's At Yoshimune's explanation, questions I've been asking myself for days had started to unravel. It now made perfect sense how they were able to find me even though I was living deep in the mountains. But why didn't Father ever tell me about meeting you, or about the Hakuseki clan? Was my father a member of the Hakuseki clan? He didn't have the ability to see the threads, and he looked like an ordinary person.
No, it was your mother who was a member of the Hakuseki clan. That's what I heard from Munenori as well. Your mother was a woman with incredibly beautiful pure white skin and hair. She was albino.
My mother?
Were you not aware of that either?
No. Frankly, I didn't have any memories of my mother. According to my father, she died when I was still a baby. I asked about her a few times, but Father spoke fondly only about how she was kind and amazing person, but he also told me her name. I didn't even know where her grave was. So I never would have thought that my mother was from the Hakuseki clan.
Munenori must have had his own ideas. Above all else, he wanted you to be safe and out of harm.
Right. That's right. Life in that village was hard, but for better or worse, I was safe. Then, where are the other members of the Hakuseki clan? Are they part of the Oniwaban? Didn't you say they all gone?
Unfortunately, there aren't any.
What?
Everyone except you had already died. The broken down village you were living in until recently was what used to be the clan's final settlement. And I assumed you were the only one living there, yes? It's possible that one of mixed blood like you could be hiding somewhere, but we have not been able to confirm it.
Oh, no. I couldn't react properly to the surprise he so casually dropped. So in the truest sense of the word, I was all alone.
Now then, you have any other questions? I'll be sure to answer them.
No, I don't have any. My voice squeaked out from the anxiety, but somehow I managed to answer him.
Then that settles our discussion. I look forward to seeing the fruits of your labor.
Yes, thank you very much.
Right, you may leave.
I bowed my head once more and slowly stood up. In doing so, the members of the Oniwaban entered my field of vision. All the Brillos we met. Oh, the new ones. Huh? For a moment I felt that something was out of place. I failed to notice earlier during my conversations with Lord Yoshimune, but there were clearly some unusual members in the Oniwaban.
Forgive me, Lord Yoshimune. May I ask one more question? I do not mind. Ask away. Do you know, as you know, I can see people's emotions as threads. It doesn't matter if they're human or form folk. That's right. Is there something wrong? To tell the truth, in the Oniwaban, there are people whose threads I can't see and others... Oh, you can see some? To tell the truth, in the Oniwaban, there are people whose threads I can see and others that I can't. At first, I thought I couldn't see them because they're Oniwaban, but I see now that there are people here with threads, so... Oh, which ones? Did the music just cut out? Huh? Who here, right now, has threads? If you do not know their names, you may point at them. The atmosphere changed in an instant. Lord Yoshimune, who had been so calm earlier in the Oniwaban, was silent as statues. As silent as statues were all staring daggers at me. It was almost as if they are trying to test something. Nervous from the sudden turn of events, I quietly pointed with my finger. This person and... this person. The room felt even more awkward than before. I was unsure if I should speak out. I might have even said something offensive, but I didn't know what to do and waited nervously for an answer. Then... I see, splendid. Lord Yoshimune? No, I apologize. It's not that I doubted you, but I just couldn't help but marvel at your powers. Soup, the answer to your question is simple. If you can see the threads, that means the person had... If you can see threads, then that means the person has a heart that can produce emotions? In other words, if you cannot see someone's threads, then that means they don't have a heart. What do you mean? Those without threads are neither human nor form folk. They are called vessels. And all of the love interests are vessels? What? Vessels. Beings created to vanquish Blightfall in the Hakuseki clan's stead. They do not have emotional threads. So, I assume, going through their routes, you'll eventually be like, oh no, I have emotions now, and get threads. They'll be like, oh, look at you, you got threads, you have a heart. Tools created for the sole purpose of destroying the Blightfall. I couldn't help but stare, eyes wide at the revelation. After the meeting, the Oniwaban took me back to the base. But waiting for me there were the 3 members I'd never met before. More people to voice. So he's the captain. Let us introduce ourselves formally. My name is Kiyoshiro Kawamura. I am a captain of the Oniwaban, and I have been tasked with governing the samurai town. I've been told those in Oniwaban to call me by my first name. You may do so as well. I see, nice to meet you. And this man here is the one in charge of Castletown, Mitsuhige Miyaji. Soup? Soup, it's nice to meet you. I'm sure it's a lot to take in, but I look forward to working with you. We're counting on your power. And this here is... I really like his design. The coordinator of the entertainment district, Kiyohiko Yabuta. I can introduce myself, you know. I really like his design. It's almost... Well, no, he has some blue on it. It was like he was just bi flag. I suppose. He's so bitchy. Look at that face. What are the kids saying today? It's serving cunt. Hey, Soup, right? To be frank, I have no interest in being friends. The only thing I expect from you is that you do your job as we say. Yes, I'll do my best. If there's one thing I learned from these self-introductions is that all three of them seem pretty unique. Luckily, both Miyagi and Yabuda, whose threads were visible, seemed like very straightforward people. Both of them had emotions that matched up with what they say. I'm grateful even for just that.
Come on, Kiyohiko. Don't say things like that. She's fresh from the countryside, so you have to treat her nicer.
I don't care. That's not a part of my job.
Kiroshiro, can you talk some sense into him? She came all this way out to Edo. I don't want to... She came all the way... She came all the way out of... Shit. Let me try again. She came all the way out to Edo. All the way out... She came all the way out to Edo. I don't want to see her treated like this.
There's no need for that. Both of you are in the right. How one treat others should be their own discretion.
Jeez. If that isn't the most vessel-like part of your whole personality.
Vessel. I was blankly listening to their conversation, but I couldn't help but to be sensitive to that word. He's right. There are no threads around Kiyoshiro's neck. He's a vessel. At that moment, Kiyoshiro stared at me with a sharp gaze. What are you looking at? I'm sorry, I couldn't help but...
Are you maybe curious about vessels? Kiyoshiro's the only one here. They look just like regular people, but they're neither human nor form folk. Hard to wrap your head around it, right?
Yes, honestly, I'm still rather confused.
Alright, so this is a good opportunity. I'll teach you about the vessels before we start discussing the matter at hand. After enthusiastically slapping his knee, Miyagi proudly leaned forward. Listen up. Vessels are...
Sorry, I hit my mic.
Listen up. Vessels are like form folk in that they're born with a tool... Listen up. Vessels are like form folk in that they are born when a tool obtains a soul. But during their birth, they receive treatment from the shogunate's resident soothsayer, and are modified to be able to fight against the Blightfall.
Soothsayer. Those who tell fortunes or perform magic using their knowledge of, Onmyodo?
It's why they can use the snow sacrament, the power to exorcise the Blightfall. It is also why their hearts and memories from before they were a vessel are sealed.
Why do they seal away their hearts and memories from before they became a vessel?
As you know, Blightfalls are monsters created from negative emotions. They often use mind pollution to increase their numbers or to disable enemies. So if you bear any negative emotions or have a heart that can react to them, you'll be vulnerable to a Blightfall's attack.
Then the seal on their memories is...
to reinforce the seal on their hearts. If vessels remember who used them before they became a vessel, the life their master led, and their own thoughts and desires. If they remember the experiences they had when they had a heart, it could end up breaking their seal too. Truth In truth, there may have been many examples of a vessel regaining their memories and then their heart only to turn to Blightfall in the process. So, vessels aren't allowed to have a heart or memories of their past. Then if the members of the Oniwa Band get their hearts and memories back, we'd execute them, of course. There's no telling if they become an enemy. They'll become an enemy. No way. What? You have a problem with that? No, nothing. But then they really are like tools. They finally get the chance to be born in this world, only to be killed if they got their hearts back. Don't tell the vessels. Don't the vessels ever feel dissatisfied with that? No, perhaps they don't even have those kind of thoughts in the first place. Thinking in that way made me terribly sad. That's why we humans aren't suited for fighting against the Blightfall. Not only do we have hearts, we can't even use the snow sacrament. To top it off, when humans become Blightfall, they can camouflage as humans and continue living among us. It's troublesome. Of course, we receive training as part of the Oniwa Band, but anyway, we leave most of the combat to the vessels. So from here on out, you're going to go on missions as support for the vessels. I see. Upon hearing that, I relaxed a little. I didn't think I could fight in the same way that I saw them fight in the village. I was surprised to hear that they were created. From what I can understand, vessels are pretty similar to form folk, aren't they? Wait, I don't think anyone had a wooden tablet. Vessels don't possess a tablet. In return, there is a mark carved somewhere on their body. Vessel mark. A mark distinctive to vessels. Since vessels are somewhere between human and form folk, they don't require a wooden tablet to maintain their form. Instead, they have a mark on the form of a flower somewhere on their body. Like this one. After saying that, Kiyoshiro roughly pushed back the sleeve of his kimono. Near his elbow, there was a mark that stood out on his skin, resembling a scar. There is just one mistake in your understanding. Vessels are not similar to form folk, rather something in between form folk and humans. Naturally, we die if the tool that formed us is destroyed, but we also die if we receive a fatal injury. Unlike form folk, our bodies are human. However, in exchange, we possess the power to destroy Blightfall. Never forget this. No matter how much we may look and act like humans or form folk, we vessels are nothing more than tools created for a singular purpose. As long as you remember that, there won't be any problems in our missions. I could only nod at Kiroshiro's words. From his explanation, it was clear that vessels were necessary in an Edo filled with Blightfall. It might even be wrong to feel sad for them. Now, since we're done talking, we must discuss the main topic at hand. Let's decide what area you'll handle, Soup. Samurai Town, Castle Town, or the Entertainment District, you mean? Samurai Town, Castle Town, or the Entertainment District. You mean I'll be working in one of those places? That's right. The entirety of Edo would obviously be too much ground to cover, so we're letting you choose which area will be your jurisdiction. What? Right now? That being said, it will be difficult to decide without any background information. I'll give a simple explanation for each area. Kiyoshiro took out a map of Edo and placed it on the tatami map. Firstly pointing at the left. He pointed at the left, the west side. This is the samurai town that I'm in charge of.
It mostly consists of houses belonging to samurai families such as daimyo and retainer mansions. You stay the night here, so I'm sure you're already aware, but it's a quiet and calm environment.
It sure was. Makes sense. The citizens there are all high and mighty, just like you.
So as for why the environment is like that...
He's ignoring Yabuto's jab at him. One of the reasons is that
usually people outside of samurai's families are prohibited from entering the district. In addition, there aren't any stores, so each house sends their servants out to shop, or conversely, they call the merchants over here. So each household has a closed social network. It's a peaceful place, but
is there some sort of problem?
Considering the type of people who live here, shady political conflicts are the norm. This sort of insidiousness is something other districts lack. Thus, it's easy for powerful Blightfall to appear, though they don't appear very often.
By nature of its locality, the district has its own set of difficulties.
Now that I think about it, the black threads I saw in Samurai Town were concentrated in one spot, so that's why.
In comparison, Castletown to the north is pretty average in terms of Blightfall appearances and strength. I think it's fairly easy to handle. The residents are mostly commoners. Aside from the row houses where they live, there are shops and restaurants too. It's pretty lively though, not as much as the entertainment district. You should probably have a lot of fun there.
That's true. Compared to the Samurai Town and the entertainment district, the Castle Town seems less dangerous. It could definitely be easier to handle.
YAyy is acting airheaded as usual. Why does it matter if an assignment is fun or not?
I mean, if you're going to be spending all your time there, it's better if it's somewhere you're comfortable, right?
What's most important for an assignment is if it's worth it or not.
If it's worth it or not?
Exactly. The entertainment district I'm in charge of is the most troublesome place of all of Edo. It's a place that exists for the entertainment of the people. It's also where idiots horse around all day and night, which tends to cause conflicts. So not only do we have the most Blightfall appearances, our Blightfalls are all quite troublesome ones. To put it frankly, it's not a place suited for novices whatsoever. On the other hand, it's also the area that meets your special power the most.
After saying all that in one go, Yabuto suddenly scrunched up his face and closed his mouth tightly. Receiving this sort of treatment so suddenly made me feel uneasy.
Is something the matter? Why? Why am I in charge for such a troublesome place? Huh? The entertainment district is loud and everyone there is scum. It's awful. I demand an immediate transfer. And there he goes again.
Huh? What was that all about? Was that what? What was all that about an assignment being worth it?
His lordship assigned you to the entertainment district because he deemed you to be the best fit. He praised your work.
That's right, Kyohiko. We couldn't be able to handle the entertainment district. That's why it was left in your more than capable hands. His feet. Grr.
Lord Yoshimune was praising me? Lord Yoshimune was praising me? Is that true?
Why would I lie? Yeah, you can always trust the words of a vessel, right?
Well, of course, I'm much more capable than any of you lot. The entertainment district is a piece of cake. Who needs a transfer?
Yeah, man, you're simple. I mean, you're really honest, and that's what I like about you. Yep, that's it. Kyohiko, is that all you need to explain to her?
Wait, there is one more thing. The entertainment district has the best alcohol of all of Edo. I see. Perhaps he was remembering the taste of the alcohol. Yabuda's threads were, contrary to his stiff expression, a happy orange.
That's it for the explanations. Have you decided which district you want to oversee?
Right. For the three's explanations, I knew that each district had its own unique treats, but that didn't mean that I could answer the question so soon. I've just arrived in Edo and I can't quite imagine myself doing work.
It doesn't seem like you decided yet.
Not yet, I'm sorry. I don't understand. I don't understand what I forgot his voice already. I don't understand what there is to be so concerned about. They seemed to get the message from my reaction, and the three of them looked at each other with troubled expressions. I got it. How about you choose the person doing the assignment with you? You seem awfully confident she'll pick you. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. We're not the only ones who work on the assignments with her, right? The vessels will also tag along. You have to think about your compatibility with them, too. I thought it would be good to use that to make your decision. Oh, I see. Thinking about it that way might make it easier to decide. I wanted to get along with all my companions, but if our personalities clashed and they hated me, it might have an effect on the mission. No matter how careful you are in your interactions, miscommunications can always happen. I understood that fact all too well. But aside from Tomonari and Tojo, I've only just been introduced to everyone. I wish I could talk to everyone a bit more. If that's the case, you can spend the day talking to the vessels. Just be sure to give your answers today. Thank you very much. And so, I immediately left the mansion in order to talk to the members of the Oniwaban. Kiyoshiro told me that the Samurai Town's team would be working at the base. Since we traveled to Edo together, I felt closer to them than the others in the Oniwaban, but I decided to talk to them once more. Where should I go? My first thing! I'm gonna choose study next time. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here, because I just reached an hour. So, yeah. Can't believe our boyos are all vessels. Imagine being able to... You can already die so many ways as a human and stuff, but it's also like the tool things. It just sounds like it sucks more than anything. But, yeah. I hoped you enjoyed if anyone's watching, and if you are, I really appreciate it. But I'll see you next time. Bye!